What's up, guys? This is the Double D podcast. We've missed a couple weeks. It's my fault. I'm going to get ragged on during this episode. Once again, cue the fucking Derek doing stupid fucking things all the time.
Stupid shit that Derek says.
But we're going to talk about the past couple weeks of football, MLB World Series, and a bunch more shit around football. All right, Dean, is there anything you want to say coming into this podcast after missing a couple weeks?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I think you took the words out of my mouth. You're a dumbass, and we've known this in the past. I do want to say to all the viewers that I've asked to do the podcast the last couple of weeks, and he has repetitively ignored my texts, saying the next thing that he just fell asleep. So he's the useless one here, just first and foremost.
All right. First of all, no, this past week was my fault. The one before that was not my fault. You were deathly ill. And you couldn't talk.
You could have done it yourself. I couldn't speak. I lost my voice. What do you want from me?
In my defense, I wanted to drink on Halloween.
Wow. All right. So not only...
fuck you, Ron.
Alcoholic. Okay, good. At least we got all the bases covered.
All right. So, Dean, basically, this podcast, and obviously, just give me a refresher, that we're going to talk about highlights from week 9 to week 11. Off the top of your head, what are some things that pop in your head?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess we could start off the bat in week 9. There was a couple of games that kind of really set the tone for just the NFL moving forward, and one of them in particular was Green Bay and Detroit. I think Detroit completely took command of the NFC North with that win over Green Bay. Green Bay is the closest to them in the standings. We're now going into week 11 now, and they're in second place, Green Bay. The Lions are pretty confidently and, pretty stoically in first place now at a 7-1 record. So this was a big win for them in week 9. They kind of just took full command of the game. They really didn't allow the Packers to do almost anything that they wanted to. And, I mean, keep in mind, this is, their first division matchup of the year, so it was a big one. I think that's really where a lot of my focus was on week 9. There were a couple of other really good games like Rams Seahawks, and even, believe it or not, the Monday night game, which somehow the Chiefs continue to win. But I personally thought in week 9 the Lions was one of the bigger ones just because of how monumental that is just for a division matchup, especially when the division was a little bit close going into it, but the Lions are starting to pull away clearly.
Was that week last week, or is that because this week is week 11 coming up?
Yeah, this week coming up is week 11. That was week 9.
Oh yeah, week 9. That was that's a great pick because the Lions are like doing crazy things right now. Offense is firing on all cylinders. Even like in week 9, they're doing very well. I know this is a little biased, but obviously the viral clip of Saquon doing the outrageous hurdle in week 9 against the Jaguars, which I've never seen before, and I was not even expecting to see in my entire life. But honestly, that entire week, there was a bunch of crazy catches. Garrett Wilson had the catch on Thursday night, that like Jordan-esque catch against I believe that was against the Texans.
Yeah. It was in the end zone. It was a one-handed catch. It was, shades of Odell Beckham. And somehow it always seems to be a New York player who makes these unrealistic one-handed catches in the end zone. But I mean, kind of to your point, Derek, if we want to go the Jets route, I think the difference between the Jets teams that we saw in week 9 and week 10 were astronomical. Yeah,
polar opposites.
Week 9 showed a team that was, definitely poised to make a run. Yes, you're 3-5 going in after the win in week 9. You're going to 3-5, which is big because the division and the conference was still available. And then the complete opposite in week 10, where they got absolutely blown out of the water against the Cardinals team, who is, by the way, we could get to talking about them, but they're a really good team and their offense looks great. But getting only held to 6 points against the Cardinals team, where
that's bad.
All of these wins are must-wins at this point for the Jets, and that's not saying anymore that they're must-wins now because their season is pretty much over. It doesn't matter. But just a very disappointing performance. I think Jets fans continue to stay really they're just the Jets. They suck.
Yeah.
Year in and year out, and clearly Aaron Rodgers didn't, change that. Clearly Devontae Adams didn't change that. Clearly a coaching change didn't change that. So the Jets are going to have a lot of questions to be had during the offseason. They're one of the franchises in the NFL that's in disarray just because of the contracts, the picks that they've traded, and all that. So very disappointing week 10 for them, especially after coming off a huge win against a good Texans team.
Yeah. I thought that game was going to be very close because they're both good. I would say you could put the team side to side. They're both very good offenses. Very good. They have star powers on each side. They have Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride, James Conner, etc. And then they have Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. Great players, but I don't know what it is. It's just Aaron Rodgers does not fit with the Jets at all.
Well, I mean, a big portion of it, we've talked about this so many times on the podcast, is coaching.
Yeah.
The Jets fired their coach. What was it, week 5 or week 6? Right before
week 6.
Week 6, I believe. Yeah. So they clearly have not rebounded from that. They were hoping that maybe a coaching change would spark something. That has not been the case. Aaron Rodgers still looks completely lost within that offense. Him and his receivers are not on the same page. Him and Garrett Wilson really haven't been on the same page all year.
Yeah.
And it really hasn't improved, to be honest, which is one of the more disappointing things, especially after bringing in Devontae, where you would think space would be opened up for a guy, especially like Garrett Wilson, who is so dynamic.
Yeah.
But they're clearly not on the same page. They're not getting the running game going when you have a guy like Breece Hall. Their defense in week 9 looked formidable, and then in week 10 just completely shit the bed. There was no tackling whatsoever. There was open players all over the field for Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray rushed for 2 touchdowns. McBride was just absolutely breaking every tackle that a Jets defender would throw at him. It was a really just pathetic performance.
He broke a tackle and then spun off a guy and hurdled.
Yeah, it was pathetic performance. And that's on top of Hassan Reddick coming in to play.
That makes no sense.
And he was a complete ghost, though.
Yeah, that's the thing that, I understand. Don't get me wrong. The Cardinals, they have a very good young tackle, Paris Johnson. But I don't see Paris Johnson, a young fucking tackle, being able to stop Hassan Reddick. It's crazy to see because everyone was going to the season Jets are going to do so good. They're going to turn into they're going to be a playoff team. And now look at them. They're fighting for a playoff spot.
No, they're done.
Well,
look, I get the sentiment where you're not mathematically out of the playoffs, but when you're 3-7, when you are tied, which is pathetic, by the way, what I'm about to say, tied for last in the division with the Patriots, where they had absolutely zero expectations and the Jets had all of the expectations.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty pathetic, and you might as well just pack in the season at that point because clearly nothing's working. Clearly you have to go out there and hire a new coach. Clearly you have to do something about the offensive scheme. Or maybe, these players are just not getting along. We don't know, but something has to change. And I don't think at this point, it's not happening this season.
Yeah, nothing, as you're 100% right, nothing is happening this season. Everything that has to, happen for the Jets has to be in the future. Because this ain't fixing now. The coaching is going to be, you're fucked pretty much. Because Aaron Rodgers, as what you said in previous episodes, Aaron Rodgers is only getting older. He's getting older, and then you're gonna have to look for quarterbacks. Then you have to draft, and then you have to suck to get a good draft pick. They're fucked. In my opinion, I see them being fucked.
That's the biggest issue with the Jets. And look, at the time, you can definitely make a case that they made the right choice because they had pieces. They put all of their eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket.
Oh yeah,
every single one of them. And sure, at the time, it made sense. Because you had a star running back and a star receiver up and coming from the draft in Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. So you wanted to pair them with a quarterback. And not to mention, Zach Wilson was horrific.
God awful.
So you needed a change. I get it. But it didn't work. Or at least it hasn't worked yet. So you're going to have to make some sort of decision after this year in the off season to see where you go from here.
Yeah. Well, I kind of am done talking about the Jets because it's actually depressing.
Yep.
So I'm going to move on and talk about the Cardinals, the bright side.
Yep.
They're a very young team,
Yes.
and what they're doing with their – obviously they have a young coach too.
Yep.
They're playing very, very, very good football. Running the ball well, efficient. They're running the ball efficiently. They're number one, I think, in their division.
They are, if I'm not mistaken, they're tied for first in the division. They may just be like a half a game. They're a half a game up because they haven't had a bye yet.
So, that Kyler Murray actually having an offense, I'd say, clicking, McBride, Harrison. But the thing is, like, if you look at their like wide receiving core, it's not that crazy. It's Harrison. I consider Trey McBride a good wide receiver technically, and then there's like Michael Wilson, Dortch. Not like standout wide receivers like everyone else in the league has. It's just the way they scheme together.
It's a well-balanced offense with a well-balanced coach. They put a lot of stock into their franchise quarterback in Kyler Murray coming off the injury last year, and he's been everything they've wanted him to be.
Mm-hmm.
He's running the ball effectively. Nobody can sack his ass because of how quick he is. And his throwing on the run is awesome.
Yeah.
His like you mentioned, his team is young, so all of these receivers are learning with him.
Mm-hmm.
So when they see him go on the run, they're adjusting these routes and making plays. It's very impressive to see, and it's good to see that Kyler has finally come into himself, and he's really showing the quarterback that he is.
Exactly. And it's crazy though, because like also their defense is playing good.
Yeah.
I don't know like what they're ranked in like on ESPN or anything like that, but they're playing good. They're like they held the Jets to, was it 6 points? You said
only 6 points,
and that's a good offense. Even though like they haven't been doing good like this year, like they've done good against the Niners, done good against them, done good against a bunch of other teams. Even the Bills, they held the Bills week 1 to what was it? It was a high scoring game. That was like 31, but still.
The Cardinals are a good team, and the 49ers being, I don't want to say mediocre, maybe a little bit better than mediocre, has really opened the door for that division to kind of have a conversation.
Yeah.
Where the Cardinals are definitely vying for that top spot. If not the top spot, definitely a wild card spot.
Yeah, because I believe you might have the standings up right now. I don't know. Are they undefeated in their division or no?
So the Cardinals are 6-4. The Niners are right behind them at 5-4, but that's going to change after the bye week, like you mentioned. But yeah, the Cardinals are 2-0 in their division right now,
which is huge,
massive, especially because the 49ers on the complete flip side are 1-2.
Yeah, because oh my god, that's not good.
So that's going to make a massive difference if they're tied at the end of the year, especially in division rankings where there's a chance only one of those teams make the playoffs, but it's looking, at least right now, within the wild card standings, and there's a lot of football left this season, but it's looking pretty good that at least 2 of those teams from that division are going to make it.
Yeah, that's probably, in my opinion, it's probably the most exciting division right now. There's 2 divisions, actually. It's that division and, obviously, the Ravens division. That division is crazy.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of good teams in that division. You got Pittsburgh and Baltimore right at the top, and they're going to face off on this Thursday night, which we'll get to. And then the Bengals, who don't let their record fool you, because they're a fucking good team.
They're good.
They're a really good team. Joe Burrow is really fucking good.
Yeah.
And I think especially in the AFC, which has been extremely underwhelming this whole season, the Cincinnati Bengals at 4-6 still have a tremendous opportunity to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody else really is above them in terms of the wild card, except the Ravens right now, but then the Chargers. So there's a lot of opportunity in the AFC to make the playoffs, and I think Cincinnati's going to be fine as long as they, pile together a few wins. They did have a tough matchup against the Ravens this past week, which was a great matchup, but I think that division, like you mentioned, is really good.
Yeah, like the Ravens this year, they're like the defense on the Steelers side. That's number one. Can't go untouched. They've been playing phenomenal. Just week 10, they stopped the hottest quarterback in football. Well, second hottest quarterback in football, Jaden Daniels. they held them and they won the game by what was it 1 point, I believe, which is just it's good. It's great to see in my eyes that defenses are back. They're focusing a lot more on defenses now, and if you look at the scores from last year to this year, not many like crazy blowouts are happening.
No, and on top of that, we talked about in the first 5 weeks of the season, offense is just down this year.
Oh yeah.
So for whatever reason that may be, I don't think there's one particular thing to pinpoint for the offenses. I think it's just defenses are scheming a little bit better against passing plays and runs, and I think offensive coordinators just have to get a little bit more creative moving forward. Like the Lions are a perfect example of creativity.
Mm-hmm.
But offense is just down across the league, which to your point, defenses have been up.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it works, especially when you look at some of the teams. But I did want to go over one particular team, and then we can go to whatever team you want to talk to, Derek.
All right.
I want to go over the stinky poo-poo Chicago Bears.
Oh, no.
Now, admittedly, I have not been a supporter of Mr. Fingernails over there in Caleb Williams, and I think the past couple of weeks, horrible is an understatement. They scored 9 points against the Arizona Cardinals, and then they scored 3 points, Derek, against the New England Patriots.
That's dreadful.
That's dreadful. I mean, this is a team that had a good couple of games to start. They were actually like vying for a division spot up top. Now they're 4-5, lost 2 in a row. Caleb Williams just looks absolutely not it.
No.
At least right now. The team morale is completely gone. They actually just fired their offensive coordinator.
Good.
Because of how fucking pitiful they are. They've scored 12 points in the last 2 weeks and 3 against the New England Patriots. And we've talked about the New England Patriots on this podcast extensively.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. I forgot they only scored 3.
I want your opinion. You did just fire your offensive coordinator, right? But where do you go moving forward if you're the Chicago Bears? At least, let's just say for the next couple of games this season.
Mm-hmm. All right, so this is how I see it. 1, Caleb is fucked. This is the big reason why. It's because normally a rookie quarterback comes in, studies with the offensive coordinator for such and such amount of weeks, till if he's the starter, if he's not the starter. Yep. Now, the guy who he's been studying with, who he's been learning the plays from, just got fucking fired. He got launched out of the stadium. They pushed the red button, and he's gone. What I don't know if Caleb is gonna do good off of this, or if he's gonna do bad off of this. I'm leaning towards bad because it's so hard, even for like regular quarterbacks, to bounce back off of offensive coordinator being fired, because it takes a while to learn the playbook that they're gonna bring in, and they're gonna change the play styles. Like for all you know, they could be running a fucking college offense, and that could benefit Caleb. But if they go in and running like a run-heavy offense with Swift and shit, and then occasional like RPOs, it's gonna fuck him over. So by them firing it, like their offensive coordinator, it's gonna fuck him over. But there's also positives. They could get a good offensive coordinator, benefit him, or just could fuck him. If you know what I mean.
No, I completely agree with you. Over the last, I would say 5 to 10 years, college and the NFL, the disparities have gotten wider and wider for offenses. It's been increasingly more difficult for college quarterbacks to come over to the NFL and adjust, just because the college playbook has been so drastically changed over the last 5 to 10 years. So not only to come into the NFL under a completely new system that you had no idea of down in USC, then to not only have your offensive coordinator fired after the first year, but during the first year. That's bad. So my next question is it all on the offensive coordinator? Or if you're the Chicago Bears, do you possibly consider benching Caleb for maybe the last 5 games of the year to try to get his headspace right, maybe learn a new playbook a little bit more, maybe just get more practice reps under him?
All right. That's a great question. But I will say, I do think if they hire their offensive coordinator, I would bench Caleb for at least 2 weeks. Because why have your rookie quarterback go into an offense that basically he has no idea what the fuck he's doing?
Yep.
Instead, just have a veteran go out there who will learn the playbook. He's used to learning playbooks, who's like getting like sent around. Or their backup might be Tyler Bagent. I don't know. But send him. Yeah, I'm just saying. Send him out there. Have him run the plays for 2 weeks. Realistically speaking, they're not making the playoffs.
They're not making the playoffs because not only is their division stacked, the NFC is stacked this year.
Oh, yeah.
So they're not making the playoffs. And exactly to your point, right now you don't have an offensive coordinator. You don't know what the playbook is going to be in the next few weeks. I think, and look, this is not a hot take for me. I think it's a hot take for the NFL because I've said that he's been poo-poo caca for the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
But at a certain point, maybe this is not good for his mental. If he continues to suck dick for the rest of the year, for the next 7 weeks or however many long that he starts, going into next year, I don't exactly think he's going to be, mentally there, going confident at all. Like he came out of the draft and texted his fucking punter, "You're not going to have much work." Newsflash, buddy, the punters had a lot of work. A lot of work. So if you're going into next year and you have such high aspirations for this number 1 overall pick and you think he's going to be the head of your franchise, you do not want to fuck with his confidence because we've seen what it has done with guys. Look at Zach Wilson. Prime example in Zach Wilson. You do not, under any circumstances, of the Chicago Bears want any sort of situation like that to happen.
Oh, yeah. The thing is like, this might be too early to make this take, but I think you might be on my side with this. But like, if you see like he's surrounded, as I said like earlier in the year, he's surrounded with great wide receivers: DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, fucking Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, Swift. He has good weapons.
Yes, he does.
Now I was picturing this like the other day. I was like, how would Justin Fields do if he had these weapons?
Justin Fields was doing good with not even close to those weapons.
Exactly.
Every once in a while, a franchise has to make a decision that's franchise-altering.
Mm-hmm.
They made their decision, right? And I'm going to defend them only for this. The trade that they made with Carolina was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, they actually robbed them.
They raped Carolina.
Yes.
They bent them over a sofa, no condom whatsoever, and just stuck it in.
No! Stop! I'm saying no! Ah! Peter, it's making me watch.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. It's 100% true.
So it's kind of hard to exactly criticize that point because they got DJ Moore out of it. They got Caleb Williams out of it. They got Rome Odunze out of it. So you can criticize Caleb Williams all you want, but the trade itself was fine. And then once you make a trade like that, you have to choose. You're not going to keep Fields on the roster and just have him waste away there. At least they traded him away and got something.
Yeah.
So you had to make a decision. Caleb or Fields. So, and they chose Caleb because he's the younger player with a younger offense, with a younger coaching staff, and that's the route they chose. For better or for worse. Yeah. Right now it's looking for worse.
Yeah. I don't have any hatred towards the Browns, and not the Browns, the Bears in general. But I hope that like they do turn this around, even though Caleb is kind of getting on my nerves because this motherfucker sucks and he does talk a lot of shit. So I hate him.
Do you mind just refreshing my memory?
He sucks. He fucking sucks.
Okay, just wondering.
I hope they turn it around. Just going back to that question, bench him for 2 weeks, have him learn the new playbook, and then if they hypothetically win these next 2 weeks, and you have a shot at the wild card, send back out Caleb.
I'm gonna completely disagree with 2 of your points.
You think so?
Yes. One, first and foremost, you win the next 2 weeks without Caleb, you're not putting Caleb back in.
Well, they're going to do it. They're going to do it.
But that would be absolutely just asinine. Because then you're hurting his confidence even more when he goes into that third week and he loses.
Fair enough.
Then you immediately start to think in his head, shit, I'm the issue. Not only that, then the fans start to get out on him.
Mm-hmm.
Put in fucking Tyler Badgett instead of him. That's not good for a quarterback psyche. And two, I say just bench him the whole year because there's not going to be a definitive playbook. You're not going to hire an offensive coordinator mid-year.
Good point.
At least not one that's going to be with you long term.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. It's a very bold take because he's the number one overall pick, and you've started him every game this year, and you're continuously giving him votes of confidence. So they're not going to bench him.
Yeah.
They're going to ride him out there every week. That's just the fact of the matter.
And it also doesn't help, like, if you do see, for him, too, he doesn't have an O-line. That poor kid is running around in fucking circles every possession.
Look, that's one of the problems within the league, especially with a lot of young quarterbacks. For one, Bryce Young, too.
Yeah.
No offensive line. Zero. But not a lot of teams in the league do have a great offensive line.
Yeah.
Offensive line is one of those rarities that if you have it, God, you better be an elite team. Because if you don't take advantage of it, you're just letting those things go to waste.
Like Niners, Eagles.
Exactly. Niners, Eagles, Kansas City, Bills, all of those teams, and they're taking full advantage of it. The Ravens,
Yeah.
the Steelers.
Yeah.
Like these teams that have great offensive lines, it's not a coincidence that if you look at their record, they're at the top.
Yeah.
That's just how it works.
Yeah, it all makes sense. It all correlates together.
It does. So it hurts a rookie quarterback that you don't have an offensive line, but at the same time, brother, go out there and show something. Jesus Christ, you just put up 3 points against the New England Patriots. Like, what are we doing here, man?
Yeah, that was bad.
Drake May doesn't have an offensive line.
Yeah.
And he's looked good.
Well, everyone thought like that he should have been the first pick because he's the most talented quarterback in that draft class.
He was the most polished. And everybody just got blown away by Caleb's running ability, his throw on the run ability. But you know what? You didn't factor in he's fruity. And you know what? You also didn't factor in that he clearly doesn't have a tough psyche.
No, he doesn't.
If you watch that Week 10 game after getting sacked, and on the bench, he looked fucking completely disassociated with his team, and that's not what you want to see from a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
But I digress. Another point that I'm right. It's becoming a trend here, Derek.
All right. Fuck off. All right.
Is there another beautiful team over the last couple of weeks that you would like to talk about?
Yeah, it's actually happiness for you and me.
Oh, is it now?
Yes. The
All right.
Dallas Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys. Yes. All right, let's come on.
Okay.
Let's get it.
So, the Dallas Cowboys actually putting on a horrible display of football. Let's just start off with that. Going on against the Atlanta Falcons, who a team they haven't lost to in like 70 plus years. It's been a long fucking time since they lost to them.
Nope. This guy is fucking stupid.
Losing to them, mind you, Dak was out. Dak got out in like the third quarter, but they still played like shit. When Dak was in, they played like shit. Even the week before that, played like shit. This past week with the Eagles versus Cowboys, their defense wasn't even there. Jalen Hurts was pretty much fucking owning them. Saquon Barkley almost made a corner and a linebacker kill each other. It's just their coaching's not there. CeeDee Lamb's making excuses. He's saying, I can't see because of the bright light. Fucking pussy. You're in fucking... Jerry Jones says in a fucking interview, all right, I'm going to have to fucking break down the stadium and build a new one. The fuck are you doing? You're an NFL wide receiver. Catch the fucking football.
To be also fair, Jerry Jones is senile and has worms in his brain, but we're going to get past that.
Yeah, I know. He's pretty much growing a fucking plant out of there, the fucking dumbass. Yeah. Fuck. It's just, the team is disheveled, and not even this. Fucking Mike, inside the locker room, it's falling off. Micah Parsons said in an interview about the legends on their team, oh my fucking God, what are you saying?
Mike's on the final year of his contract, so outside there's of course going to be questions. What's the sentiment inside the locker room, and what do you tell people who are wondering about whether McCarthy will be your coach next year?
You know, that's above my pay grade about if Mike is coaching again next year. But, you know, all coaching aside, Mike can leave and go wherever he wants. But the guys I kind of feel bad for is guys like Zach Martin and guys who might be on their last year or on their way out, because that's who I wanted to hold the trophy for. You want to win games and do great things with those type of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. So
look, well, for starters, All right, where do I even begin to dissect whatever you just said here? So I'm going to do the very last thing because it's fresh in my mind. Micah Parsons, right? He's a very good player.
Mm-hmm.
He should never be a defensive end because he's too small. He should be a linebacker, but he's too stupid to play linebacker.
Agreed.
That's one, and you can hear it when he speaks, right? He's a great player. He's quick off the line, but he's small. He should be a linebacker, and he should be coordinating a defense, but he's not. That being said, I don't disagree exactly with what he's saying. For starters, McCarthy's gone after this year.
He should have been gone after this past game.
I completely – he should have been gone 2 years ago for Dallas. But you know what? We go back to that same point. Jerry Jones is an idiot.
Yes.
And that brings joy to my life.
Me too.
So I'm not going to exactly criticize them because I want them to keep making stupid moves like paying Dak Prescott.
Amen.
However, on that note, they did lose Dak Prescott. They did lose their franchise quarterback for the year, which is definitely hurting them, right? Going out there with Cooper Rush is not exactly a winning formula, to say the very least. But in that same regard, they weren't doing anything with Dak either. They were a poorly constructed team this year. They did not go into free agency and get the pieces that they need. They let go of Tony Pollard, and they thought the answer at running back was going to be Ezekiel Elliott. That's your first mistake, right?
Yeah, I forgot.
That's bad. That's bad. They have no running game. And in all of the years past, because their offensive line has been great for the last 10 years, what's been great on them? Their running game. And they completely went away from that this year.
Straight away from it.
And it showed because Dak is crap.
Horrible. God awful.
He is. But you know what? Good for him. He finessed the shit out of the Dallas Cowboys and stole money out of Jerry Jones' pocket.
Yeah. God bless him.
God bless America. The Dallas Cowboys are going to be irrelevant moving forward because there's no Dak Prescott. They're basically going to be at the bottom of the division if the Giants weren't there. If the Giants weren't a team, Dallas would be at the bottom of the division.
Yeah.
There's still a chance. And you know what? I will say this. Dallas will get one more win this year. Because they play the Giants on Thanksgiving. Yippee!
The thing though,
Pilgrims died for.
Jesus Christ.
Giants Cowboys.
All right.
Drew Lock versus Cooper Rush.
Wait, Drew Lock versus wait. Daniel Jones is.
I'm just going to assume that Daniel Jones' tenure as a Giant is over. I'm hoping, praying, and assuming.
It's not going to happen because Dable, for some reason, loves the guy.
No. Dable's job is on the line here. He has to make a change. I don't want to get too much into the Giants because they're fucking Duke.
I don't want to talk about them. They're too sad.
They are sad. You just lost to Carolina. They should have stayed in Germany this past week.
Yeah.
They should have joined the Bundesliga.
Oh, fucking God. Well, going back to the Cowboys.
Daniel Jones is the worst terrorist Germany has seen in the last 90 years.
Stop.
I'm just saying.
All right.
Jokes making themselves.
Yes.
But getting back onto the Cowboys, I completely agree with everything you're saying. They're not a good team. They're just going to get worse this year, and I think McCarthy will be fired during the year. I don't think they're going to wait till the end of the year. They shouldn't. And we're not going to have to talk much about them moving forward.
But the thing is, like, I was speaking to a bunch of other people about this, is that nothing in this team will ever get fixed if Jerry Jones is at the helm.
Well, I hate to break it to you. He's not going anywhere until he dies.
Yeah, no, don't hate to break it to me. I fucking love it. Them sucking makes me happy.
No, I hate to break it to Dallas fans. And you know what the sad part is? Dallas fans know that.
Yeah.
This guy is on the precipice of being senile, but he's going to continue to run the team while he's senile. It's basically going to be a more disheveled Joe Biden running the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. Soon he's going to be in interviews not reading anything.
And that's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad for Dallas Cowboys, but it's fantastic to continue to push the agenda that the Cowboys have not been America's team for the last 35 years.
All right, now I have to ask you a question. If you don't consider them America's team, who would you consider America's team? Do you think it varies every year, or do you think...
I do think it varies every year because there's not one team in the league that everybody, collectively roots for. You can make that argument this year that it's the Detroit Lions
Yes, I was about to say. I think this year would be the Detroit Lions.
because they're super likable. They are so much fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
Not only are they fun to watch, but they're great at what they do, being fun to watch. They have dynamic players in Jared Goff, who I don't know how you can't love the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the best wide receivers in the league. You have a two-headed monster at running back in David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Sonic and Knuckles.
So to answer your question in a long-winded, I think it varies based on year-to-year basis. I think this year it's Detroit because I don't think anybody in the league would mind Detroit winning. In years past, you can definitely make the argument a few years ago when they were just getting started, it was Kansas City.
Yeah.
Because who didn't like Patrick Mahomes?
Everyone
Now
hates him.
maybe people are getting a little sick of him, but that's okay.
Mhm.
That's what happens for the dynasty. Good for them.
Yeah.
I think it varies every year. I don't think there's one team, and there shouldn't be one team.
Yeah.
Nor has it ever been in my lifetime the Dallas Cowboys. So you know what? All you Dallas fans, go fuck yourselves. I don't care. Your team sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck the Cowboys. Fuck the Cowboys.
You won the same amount of playoff games as the Giants have in the last 10 years.
Wait,
So
is
you know what?
Is that true?
I don't want to. Yeah, so I don't want to hear shit.
Oh God, that is not good.
Yeah, oh God. And somehow they're still the loudest.
The reason why they're the loudest, though, Dean, is because how Cowboys fans see it is that in the 90s when they were a powerhouse and winning all these Super Bowls and they stacked up. Though I don't know. I think they have 5? They either have 5 or 6 Super Bowls, which is great. I can't put anything against that. But how Cowboys fans see it is that they have those Super Bowls. They're a dynasty no matter what.
No, I don't give a shit. It's been 30 years.
Exactly. No, I 100% agree with you.
Everybody born in my generation has seen nothing but failure from the Cowboys.
They haven't been an NFC Championship in 25 fucking years.
Yeah, so I don't want to hear this shit that your team is good, that Dak Prescott is good, that CeeDee Lamb's the best in the league. You know what? You suck.
Yeah.
You can't win shit.
And CeeDee Lamb is not the best in the league.
No, he's not.
Okay.
He's not. He's very good, but I can think of 5 receivers that are better than him. Off the top of my head.
5 receivers is kind of crazy.
Why is that?
All right, I want to hear this. You're 5.
Yeah. I'm going to go one by one. You're going to tell me if you rebuttal it at all.
Okay, go.
All right?
All right.
Justin Jefferson.
No, I don't know rebuttal.
I would hope not. You waited a little too long for that one. Are you fucking kidding me? That's the first.
No. No, I was like, no.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Eric. What are we doing here, man? No, I'm being honest. How do you even think about that?
I wasn't thinking about it. I'm genuinely just saying it's an obvious one. So no.
All right, whatever. We're going to go on to number 2. Jamar Chase.
No, I don't rebuttal that.
Am I good there?
You're good.
Cool. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Rebuttal.
Let's hear this shit.
All right. The reason why I'm saying this is because, don't get me wrong, Amon-Ra St. Brown's a great wide receiver. I'm not saying he isn't. But CeeDee Lamb, besides this year, has been way more consistent than Amon-Ra has. And you know that's true.
Amon-Ra does so much more for his team. Amon-Ra blocks. Amon-Ra runs the ball. Amon-Ra catches routes from the slot.
Well, CeeDee Lamb does run the ball, too. And it's also based off their playbooks. You can't say run the ball, because in the fucking Cowboys offense, when the fuck do you ever see a jet sweep to fucking...
I'm sorry. If I'm making a team right now, I'm taking Amon-Ra over CeeDee.
I'm taking CeeDee over Amon-Ra.
All right. Look, you can rebuttal that one all you want. That's 3 for me right there. Number 4, you're going to like this one, and I think it's true, A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I do agree. When A.J. Brown's healthy, he's a better wide receiver than him.
And number 5 for me, sure, his team has been in disarray because of no quarterbacks, a weird quarterback situation, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. He's not, yeah.
That's 5 for me.
The only arguable one I would say is Amon-Ra.
Which is absolutely crazy to me.
I know.
You're going to call me a psycho? I'm taking Cooper Kupp over CD too. Yeah.
All right, wait.
Yeah.
You prime, like, healthy Cooper Kupp?
He's healthy right now, is he not?
Well, he's still battling his ankle injury. Well, not his ankle. Healthy Cooper Cup. I do agree with you because he's an outstanding wide receiver when he's like fully healthy, no problems in his body. He's one of the best receivers in the league. He's top 2 when he's healthy.
Yeah.
All right. To move on from the Dallas Cowboys after our happiness, I kind of want to switch sports real quick and talk about the disparity of the New York Yankees. I want you to start with this because you're wearing the Yankees.
Congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers for winning the 2024 World Series. That was a very impressive and, flawless of mistakes World Series for them. I think the key in this World Series was just the Yankees beat themselves. I think after Game 5, there was a very realistic opportunity the Yankees could have been up 3-2 going back to LA. They should have won Game 1.
Yes.
If it wasn't for Boone bringing in Nestor Cortez over Hill.
I don't know why I did that.
It's Ohtani and Freddie Freeman. It's just like it's like Boone had a stroke. And then Game 5, you're up 5-0, and your defense completely implodes on itself.
Yeah.
Giving up 5 unearned runs in what otherwise was a completely flawless Garrett Cole outing.
Yeah, he played phenomenal in both games.
He did. So you could have easily been up 3-2 in that series. They weren't. They lost 4-1. Props to the Dodgers for not giving in and shooting out. But they said it after the series. Looking into the scouting report at the New York Yankees, the fact was if you waited them out long enough, they were going to beat themselves. And they did. You saw it in the regular season, but you didn't blink an eye at it because it was the regular season, right? Mm-hmm. But then when the lights were the brightest, you saw it. Judge dropping a blatant out in center field.
I was so pissed.
To start the 5th inning in Game 5. Volpe not making the right throw from shortstop to third. That was another out. Garrett Cole not covering first, and or Rizzo not jogging his fat ass over to first.
I'm so glad they declined his team option. Oh, my God.
To end the inning. So the Yankees have nobody to blame but themselves. Props to the Dodgers for winning it. They put together a phenomenal team. Their bullpen was just lights out. Their lineup, we've talked about it. It's like there was no breaks. Their lineup was great from 1 to 9, and it's going to continue to be that way. It was an entertaining World Series, and the MLB got what they wanted. They got New York versus LA. Obviously, as a Yankee fan, I'm disappointed. You wish they would have won the World Series, but then you look at the team, and they clearly didn't do enough to deserve it.
Yeah.
And then not only that, after the season's over, you renew Boone's option for 2025, and that's a whole different conversation for another day if we want to get into baseball off season, which I think we should, because in the coming weeks there's going to be a lot of free agencies.
Yeah.
Especially with the Juan Soto with sweepstakes,
which
is going to be massive.
Please guys,
across the entire MLB. You have some really good starting pitchers out there that are going to be Corbin Burns, Blake Snell, just to name a couple.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very entertaining offseason. I think the MLB is wide open, except for the Dodgers. I think they're just going to get better next year. I think this is the opportunity this year for a lot of teams like the Padres, like the Mets, like the Phillies, like the Yankees to go out there and beat them.
Yeah.
And none of them did.
It's just, obviously as a Yankee fan, it does suck seeing what happened because in Game 5, pretty much up 5-0 and just implode.
Yep.
It's sad to see, but I agree with pretty much every point you're saying. They beat themselves.
Yes.
They didn't lose to, I wouldn't say they lost to the Dodgers. They lost to themselves. The Yankees lost to the Yankees. Because
they did.
And Boone, that little motherfucker, I want to strangle him. When he put in Nestor Cortez, and I was watching that game, I'm like, motherfucker, what are you doing? Why are you putting in Nestor Cortez, who's been out for, what was it, like a month and a half?
Yep.
He hasn't pitched in a month and a half. Well, he's obviously
against two of the best hitters in the league.
Against two of the best, Ohtani and Freddie fucking Freeman. What are you doing? It it doesn't make sense.
And there's one other point that I want to make, and I'm saying this as a Yankee fan, as a diehard Yankee fan. He's my captain.
Mm-hmm.
I love him. He has put together regular seasons that people may never see again. Back-to-back 60 home runs. I mean, he didn't hit 60, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy, breaking the AL record in home runs. He's going to go down as one of the best Yankees to ever play. But I don't want to hear the excuses anymore because he just didn't show up in the playoffs again. When the lights were brightest, when the Yankees needed him most, he just wasn't there.
But when the world needed him most, he vanished.
He curled up in a ball.
And to be a great player, to cement yourself as one of the greatest players to play this game, and for your legacy, you have to show up in the brightest moments. You have to show up in the playoffs, and he didn't.
Yeah.
Now, I hope he has a lot more opportunities because I do think he's going to. But until he does show who he is in the playoffs, I don't want to hear about the MVPs. I don't want to hear about the Silver Slugger Awards. I go out there and do it.
Exactly. It's like if you go back to obviously the most recent previous captain, Derek Jeter.
Yep.
He wouldn't the way Judge was playing batting 130 at the time. It's god awful.
Yep.
Jeter wouldn't have that one. Jeter would have never done that. I know it's hard to compare the two, but because they're two different type of hitters. But you gotta focus up. You're going the regular season and the postseason, two completely different things, two different ballparks.
They are.
The pitching is different. This coach.
It's a shame because when you watch him play, it's almost like his game plan at the plate completely changes. Maybe he's just and it's clearly shown. I don't think maybe at this point you can just make the argument that he's nervous.
Oh yeah.
The lights are just getting to him. He's swinging at pitches that he wouldn't even consider swinging at in the regular season. His chase rate in the regular season was around 25%.
Mm-hmm.
In the playoffs, it was at 45%.
Ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
It's also this too. I don't know if you remember seeing this from the World Series because they showed it. In Game 1, his stance was his front foot was like a quarter inch behind his back foot.
Yes.
And then in the Game 5, he switched it and it was level.
Yep.
And he was hitting better. It's just the small things he did to his stance in the playoffs that fucked him over.
That's what nerves do. That it's these things where especially when you start pressing, that's all your mechanics get fucked up.
Exactly.
And it showed, especially his mental.
Yeah.
But look, season's over. Los Angeles Dodgers are the World Series champion. Time to go to the offseason, and every team has to go out there and make themselves better to beat them. That's how it is.
And the coming weeks is a note for the podcast. In the coming weeks, we will be talking about the offseason because it's going to be big. There's a lot of big free agents coming into this offseason. And there might be a couple of I'm not saying this in a crazy way, some Japanese imports coming in. Roki I don't know how to pronounce his name, but a bunch of them. And it's going to be very interesting.
And the ass part about it is he's probably going to the Dodgers too.
Don't even talk. Please don't say that.
It's the truth because the pitch that the Dodgers have is something that no other team can do. Ohtani and Yamamoto are going to sit at the table, slam down their World Series trophy, and say,
"Oh my God!"
But that's how it's gonna work. That's the reality of it.
No, it's fucked to say, but you're right. There's just all you need to bring is both of them, and you get them. It's I hope to God it doesn't happen, but
and the S part is they have the money because Ohtani deferred his entire contract like a dickhead.
Fuck him. I hate him.
But we digress.
Yes.
We go into the off season. We'll see what everybody MLB team does. We'll talk about it in the coming podcast. How the free agency goes.
Yep. All right. Well, we're gonna go back to football. Obviously, the current best sport around right now. The NBA is obviously still going on, but until it gets more games, then I'll start talking about it because I don't want to make rough assessments when there's not that many games. So, who do you think? This is a question off the top of my head. Who do you think is going to win the MVP this year? Who's your favorite? To win the MVP.
Man,
for me, it's obvious.
It's hard not to say Lamar again.
Okay, so we're on the same point. Good.
Because the guy he doesn't stop.
He's ridiculous.
You can make an argument that there's two players on the same team.
No, that's the top two. I think they're the top two.
So I find it hard to believe that anybody in the voting right now beats out Lamar. And what would that be? His third MVP?
Yeah, third MVP. He has a unanimous one last year, and then one, and then if he does win this year, he keeps up the same stats. But I just need to say this too. This motherfucker last year had 24 touchdowns total, and he won total passing touchdowns. He has 24 passing touchdowns this year, with Derrick Henry being there. He has the same amount of touchdowns as last year. It's just insane. And he's at week 10. He might throw for 35 passing touchdowns this year. Or maybe, which is insane.
No, yeah, look, Harbaugh has continued every single year to up the ante and continue to give him help. This year, it was Derrick Henry, which was absolutely massive. Mm-hmm. Just giving him that option in the backfield, making defenses think just a little split second more about which guy to cover, immensely helps him. And then not to mention, they did just bring him over help in the trade deadline, who's still getting acclimated in Deontay Johnson.
Exactly.
So they're giving him all the tools. But to answer your question, yes, I think Lamar Jackson is the clear choice at MVP. Now, he's got to go out there and win a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
He's got to go out there and win.
That's how he can submit his legacy.
That's how he can submit his legacy. And this year is his best chance by far.
Yeah. And it's just also like going back to like the point, like it's crazy to say how fucking Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson are damn near top two for MVP on the same team. Henry has scored a touchdown every single game he's played this year, and he has games where he scored 2 in some of them. So he has like I think 14 touchdowns this year. It's crazy, and I don't see like how they don't win it, but I was speaking about this with someone else, but with like one of my friends. Do you see the NFL say, God forbid, the Chiefs go undefeated? Mm-hmm. Do you see the NFL putting Patrick Mahomes getting involved in that voting?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I don't even think there's a question about it.
Because I don't know, like I just see like how like NFL favoritism is sometimes.
I get it. I completely do. But if you compare the stats side by side, it's not even close. It really isn't. It's not even close. Mm-hmm. And you know what? On your point about undefeated status, it's if they're really going to go the route of records, Baltimore ain't too shabby either. They're 7-3. So I don't see that. I see that being a non-issue.
Okay.
I don't even think maybe a Kansas City fan votes Patrick Mahomes over Lamar Jackson, but that's it. I don't see any realm at this point in the season. Granted, 7 weeks left of NFL football. Mm-hmm. 8. No, 7.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at this point in the season, I don't see any which way about it that Mahomes would even come close to comparing to Lamar Jackson.
I hope it doesn't happen. It's just like the side of me that's like the favoritism because it's possible. But
I don't see it.
The only like other besides the 2 Baltimore players, the only people who I do see is Josh Allen.
Yep.
And who else? Who is it? Fucking Burrow. He's having a sneaky good year. The kid is throwing a lot of touchdowns.
Not a sneaky good year. He's having a sneaky great year. But it hurts when you're in the same division as a guy who's better than you.
Exactly.
That's wise. You can definitely look at Buffalo. Sure. What Josh Allen has done with that Buffalo team where they lost a lot of talent on the offensive side over the offseason, nothing short of impressive to say the least.
Yeah.
He's by far a top 3 quarterback in the league. And he continues to prove it. Not only on the throwing game, but he continues to rush for touchdowns left and right too.
Yeah.
So, yes. I think, and both of the guys you just said above Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Once again, I don't think it's close.
All right. No,
I don't think you're going to have to worry about that in the offseason when MVP comes around.
That's a good thing to see like from your perspective because some people would say like the other way around. All right, so that's the MVP. Moving on to another award real quick. Coach of the Year. Who do you think is favored to win Coach of the Year?
Brian Dable. No, I'm kidding. That's the most asinine answer that I could have put out there.
I should snipe you. I should actually fucking kill you.
I think so. Coach of the Year is going to be very difficult because Coach of the Year is kind of hard to judge in the middle of a season. You kind of need a full year's worth of games to see how things are going.
Mm-hmm.
My early review, and I think there are quite a few that can go here. I think it's honest. If you want my honest opinion, I think it's between two coaches right now, and I'm gonna go with the first one first and foremost. I think Mike Tomlin should be up there. With a Pittsburgh team going back and forth between quarterbacks, having your initial starter get injured in the beginning of the year, and having to go with your backup for the first 5 weeks of the season, and not only going with your backup, but also going 4-1 or 4-1 in those games.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty damn impressive, if you want my opinion. And he's just been absolutely consistent throughout his career, but he's showing it this year that his team has a legitimate shot to vie for a potential not only to win the division but a Super Bowl. I think he should definitely be in the equation. And then the second one for me, rookie quarterback in a division where they thought you were going to be third or fourth.
Sean Payton?
Dan Quinn.
Oh, I thought I was completely off.
No, I think Dan Quinn, the Commanders coach, I think he has done an absolutely tremendous job this year.
I didn't even think of that.
That went into the year with no expectations, with a completely raw rookie quarterback. And not only are they vying for a division, but they're tied for the division at 7-3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just a tremendous job to me. There are so many other coaches, and I think, like I said a little bit earlier, you kind of need a full year sample size to really judge and bet on Coach of the Year. But right now, at least 10 games in, I think those are the two at least at the top of my list for the time being.
All right. So real quick, I'm gonna do the same thing. The top of my list, minus number one is kind of obvious. It's Dan Campbell. He's coached great for his team. The team is, like, you can see, like, the team themselves, they're having fun being with him, which also a good aspect to look into it. Like, he meshes well with the team. Yep. And number two, this is like on if they go positive this year and they make the playoffs, the Broncos, because they started off last year. I think they won 4-11, I believe 4-11, 4-12.
Well, you're still wrong because there's 17 games in a year.
I don't remember how was. All I know is they had 4 wins, 4 or 5 wins.
Oh, your math. They last year, I'm looking it up, they went 8-9.
Really? It made it. I swear to God, I thought they did so much worse. Jesus Christ! Wow.
It's
yeah.
All
right.
I never thought somebody
Could be so dumb.
somebody would make me look so smart.
That's fair enough. Well, they still are coming off a bad year with the last year of Russell Wilson. We're sending him off and then bringing in a rookie quarterback. And if they make the playoffs, it'll be good. It'll be crazy to say. Coming off people saying Sean Payton is past his time and shit, and then he makes the playoffs and leads a rookie quarterback to the playoffs. So those are, and then on the outside, a new coach that came in, Harbaugh. Because think about who the fuck the Chargers have. No one. Herbert is pretty much throwing to Wetzel Pretzel's fucking workers.
Whoa. Don't disrespect Lad McConkey like that. Come on, man.
Wetzel Pretzel's workers.
Jesus.
It's just, like, don't get me wrong, like, they have, like, these little like, Quentin Johnson has a game, Lad has a game. But, like, they're not, like, standout names. They're not, like, the Keenan Allen, the Mike Williams that they had. They lost all of that in one season.
I agree. No, there's a lot of look. We just went through 5 viable options. There's a ton of coaches in this league that deserve a lot of praise for the teams that they're working with. Like you just mentioned, the Chargers last year only had 5 wins. They're 6-3 now.
Mm-hmm.
Harbaugh proved that he lost absolutely no time from going to the NFL to college back to the NFL. He's bringing the best out of Herbert, and that's what everybody wanted to see over the last couple of years. So props to him, yes. Denver, yes, Sean Payton we know is a great coach, right, from his past. But you're right, rookie quarterback, Bo Nix, who's very raw, but he's playing very well. He's getting the most out of them. They're 5-5 in a very weak AFC. Yes, they have a very realistic chance to make the playoffs, which would be tremendous. So, yes, he's definitely could be at the top of the list. And then, who was your other one that you mentioned?
I said Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell, which, look, it's an obvious one. The Detroit Lions are. I'm going to put them over the Kansas City Chiefs right now, even though they're undefeated. The Detroit Lions are the best team in the league right now.
I agree.
And that is in part because their coach is great and has built them quite literally from nothing. From just trying to win a game 3 years ago to now being the best team in the NFL. So, yes, there are so many options at coaching in the NFL to be coach of the year. And I don't think it's going to be a clear-cut answer as in years past. And I think it's going to be a good conversation to have at the year's end.
All right. Well, I'm glad I got your input on that. And now that we're done talking about the future, talk about the present now. This upcoming week, we have not the picks. I want to talk about one specific game first.
Okay. All right. Let's hear it.
The Thursday night game.
Yes, it is a great one.
This week, the Thursday night game is the Commanders versus the Eagles. A divisional game. Commanders and Eagles have historically had great games these past couple of years. All close games because even when the Eagles are way better than the Commanders always fight back. For example, when we were undefeated a couple years ago, or last year, I believe, they knocked Taylor Heineke, took us away with that loss.
You forgot to mention that the Eagles are just overrated, but continue.
Drown. I just wanted your opinion because I don't know if this team is in your picks or anything like that. I want your opinion on the game. Who do you think is going to win? What do you think the score will be? And such and such.
Yeah, so I'm not going to include them in my picks just because I do think it is a great game and I think it's going to be very close. If I'm going to be completely honest, I do genuinely believe the Philadelphia Eagles will win that just because they have more experience than Washington, and Jaden Daniels has fallen off just a little over the last couple of weeks. Not saying at all he's played bad. He's just fallen off a tad. And it's not like the Eagles are, some schlub team. So I think it's going to be a very physical, typical NFC East game. I think the Philadelphia Eagles do pull it out in the end. That being said, on the very flip side of it, I would not be shocked at all if the Commanders win. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's one of those weeks or one of those games where if the Commanders win, you're like, oh my God, what just happened?
Exactly.
Right? So I think it's going to be a very enjoyable game. There's a lot of enjoyable games this year, but let's hear your biased, wonderful opinion on this Thursday night matchup as well.
So my opinion on this Thursday night game is I do think the Commanders are going to win this game.
Wow.
And this is, obviously, I'm a diehard Eagles fan. I love the Eagles to death. It's just the way I've seen the Commanders play against good defenses. Even though they lost to the Steelers, they put up 27 points, which is good points to put up against that type of defense. Yep. Not many teams are doing that.
Yep.
And compared to that, if you compare that defense to the Eagles' defense, which is like sandpaper, it's nothing compared to that. We don't have that good of a pass rush this year. Our corners are playing good, like our rookies, Cooper, Quinion Mitchell. All the young guys are playing very good on our team. Yep. It's just, I don't see us being able to stop the multi-threat of fucking Jaden Daniels. I don't see us being able to stop him from running the ball or passing the ball because no one can guard on my team. I don't see anyone being able to guard Scary Terry this year. With Jaden Daniels at the helm, I see at least Scary Terry getting at least 14 targets this game. He's going to get targeted a lot, especially if Slay doesn't play, which this motherfucker is on the injury report every week. If he doesn't play, then it's going to be a nightmare because it's going to be hard for the young kids to battle around like Because Slay's the navigator. He navigates the entire corners and tells them boom, boom, boom what to do. He's not there. It'll be the first time they haven't done anything. And this is a big game. Divisional game.
Huge.
Eagles win this game, first in the division.
This is for first in the division, yes.
And I don't think the Eagles play the Commanders for another couple weeks. I think another 3 weeks, I believe. So it's good. If you take this game, it's good leverage. On the flip side, if the Eagles do win the game, it would be by our run game. It would be by Saquon Barkley, and on the off chance if Jalen Hurts is able to roll out of the pocket and complete his passes to our star wide receiver, A.J. Brown. Because I don't see a corner on that team who can guard A.J. Brown. Mm-hmm. That if he puts his big body ahead of everyone else, he's not going to get stopped. So that's that.
All right, that's enough. That's enough praising the Eagles. Jesus Christ!
I wasn't praising. I just said they were
going to praising A.J. Brown, and it almost gave me. It was only 30 seconds, but it almost gave me an aneurysm.
Okay. Do you agree? Do you at least agree with what I'm saying? Or
I do. I think it's going to be a very enjoyable game to watch, and I think it's going to be a very close game.
All right. Well, that's pretty much the main point of that. And now moving on to your favorite thing is the picks. And Dean, because I don't remember who started off last time, I want you to start off.
Why don't you remember who started off last time?
Because I fucked up. All right. Fuck you. I fucked up.
No. I just needed to get through that. Okay. So I'm going to go first here.
Okay.
Right? Because I personally, nobody else knows this because you're a dickhead, but I have been on a hot streak. I've been on a very big hot streak over the last 5 weeks, and I have proof to show it because I'm in a spread pool league.
You degenerate.
But we're not going to get into that, right? I have been hot. My very first pick is going to be the Green Bay Packers -6 against the Chicago Bears. Like we talked about, they did just fire their offensive coordinator, and Caleb Williams is too busy painting his nails black because he's in that depressed state. So we're going to go the Green Bay Packers with the points against the Bears in a divisional game.
Okay. In my first pick, I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers -6.5. It's purely because the Packers own the Bears. I just have to pick them.
Great. Now I'm actually second guessing my pick.
Don't second guess it. It's a great pick. I really hope we don't have the same picks because that would be bad.
No. Look, that's fine. That's fine. I'm going to go my second pick. Now, this is a big one, but I really don't see Jacksonville covering it. I'm going to go with the Lions -13.
It's 13?
Oh -13. Look, there's a very big chance Trevor Lawrence is going to be out again. They did play well against the Minnesota Vikings, but I think the Minnesota Vikings are coming down to earth, and the Lions are light years ahead of the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a world, a universe, a speck of sand where the Lions don't at least win this game by 10. So I'm going to take them the -13. I'm going to say they cover. I'm going to say they blow them out of the. I'm going to say boldly, I'm taking them -13. But if I was a bettor and I wanted a little bit more extra points, I would take them -20.
-20 is fucking crazy.
I'm dead ass. And I'm going to write it down here so we can go back to it next week.
Okay. All right, moving on from that crazy statement, I'm going to take the Bills -2.5. I do think the Chiefs will receive their first loss this week because most of the time when Josh Allen plays Patrick Mahomes in the regular season, he beats him.
Yep.
The playoffs, he disappears. He doesn't beat him. So I do say the Bills win that game and will cover the spread.
What you just said is historically true, so I can't really go against it, which is also concerning me. I don't like this, Derek. Not a fan of this. Not a fan of this at all. But that being said, I am going to go into another divisional game. I am going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers +3 over the Ravens. I think this is a game for the ages. Both of these teams have been outstanding this year. Outstanding coaching. believe it or not, outstanding quarterback play from both sides. Russell Wilson has come out of nowhere and actually
Play football.
been Russell Wilson. Yeah, so both defenses have been tremendous. I think this is going to be an extremely close divisional game in a hostile Pittsburgh environment. I think Pittsburgh takes command of the division this week, and I think they win outright. But I'm going to take them with the points +3.
It's a good pick. I hate agreeing with you, but that's a great pick.
Mm-hmm.
My next pick, I'm gonna take the Bengals +1.5 against the Chargers. I do think they're gonna have a bounce back week. I would say, yeah, bounce back week after losing to the Ravens on Thursday night. A long rest. Play the Chargers. I think they win that game, and because obviously 1.5, it's not gonna be. It's rarely ever a 1-point game, to where it'll cover the spread.
Yeah, that works. And it has been a couple of weeks, but I'm going to ease back into my lock of the week. I'm going to take a gimme, and don't sue me on this, everybody. I'm going to take the Texans, just straight up money line over Dallas. The Texans come off a very tough loss against Detroit, where they played a great first half, and then they just kind of disappeared in the second half, surprisingly. And for all the reasons we talked about, Dallas's year is over, as far as I'm concerned. They're pretty dog shit to begin with. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Texans just money line straight up. It's not worth it as a betting man. They're -355. But if you want just some odds boost, if you want a parlay and you just want to boost your odds, throw them in. I mean, there's no way in hell Dallas wins this. If Dallas wins this game this week, I'll come onto the podcast next week naked.
You want to do that? Why? Are you...
No, I really don't.
All right. Well, this is a bad thing for me. I did pick the Texans, and we did make up the rule if someone does have the same team for the locks, the other person will change it. We did. So I will change it. But the only other lock of the week that I could technically see is a pick that you took. It's the Lions.
That's fine.
Lions versus Jaguars. If the Lions lose,
that's even more of a pussy lock. They're -750 on the money line.
I don't care. I'm taking the Lions. If they lose that game, I will dye my hair fucking blonde.
Oh my God! Somebody record. It's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. The thing is that if it does happen, Dean, I'm not showing my fucking face.
Oh, you are. You're gonna dye your hair blonde, and you're gonna show your fucking ugly ass face.
Oh, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about that. All right, well, that's our picks for the week, and now going on to our last segment. I know Dean's favorite segment that he's been waiting for it to do is Baller of the Week. Dean?
Baller of the week!
Good job.
Thank you, everybody. I'm gonna improve upon that in weeks to come. I love our editor's little Kirby thing, so I'm sure he'll put that in, which is beautiful. Would you like to go first, Derek, or would you like me to go first?
I would actually like to go first.
There you go. Go.
Okay, and just to make sure, our Baller of the Week can be anything that's going on in the world, correct? It doesn't have to be a person.
Do I really have to explain this every week? Baller of the Week, ladies and gentlemen, for people who are new to our podcast, you can choose any single event that you would like in the world, in sports, in fashion, music, movies, politics, whatever the hell you want to talk about. Whoever you think deserves a little bit of your spotlight, that's what Baller of the Week is for.
All right, so I'm sticking with my Baller of the Week, and my Baller of the Week is crypto. It's crypto because pretty much Bitcoin, ever since, not trying to get political, ever since like this past election, the person who's been nominated in, Donald Trump, Bitcoin has went, ETH has went skyrocket. Everything that involves cryptocurrency and anything involving it that's like connected with Elon Musk or anyone like that, it's just going up, and it's good to see because, but in a couple of years' time, it could be our economy. We'll never know. For all you know, Bitcoin, people could be buying shit with Bitcoin, trading shit with Bitcoin. It's just good to see for once in a while that our economy is on an uptick. That's why I would consider it my Baller of the Week.
Good for you, Derek. How much money you have invested?
I put I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. That's good. That's really good.
Gotta
Okay.
run everything, man.
Anyway, yep, no, that's okay. Look, this is a good ball of the week. Crypto has been tremendous. Bitcoin hit 90,000 this week, which is,
Crazy.
like you just mentioned, unheard of. So, yeah, it's definitely impressive the run that it's on because President-elect Donald Trump has announced that, at least during the campaign trail, that he was going to take away some of the regulations for crypto trading, which is why I think it's been exploding. But that is a good ball of the week. Similarly, once again, we do not get political on this channel. However, it is I would be remiss if I didn't make my ball of the week whoever would have won for the presidency of the United States of America. My ball of the week is the former 45th president of the United States and now 47th president-elect of the United States, Donald J. Trump. He did wound up defeating the vice president, Madam Kamala Harris. It was definitely a tumultuous time within the country. Obviously, we're very split in terms of political views in this country, and a lot of compromise, to say the least, over the last 8 years, where if you like one person, you're hated. If you like the other, you're hated. I think we need to be a little bit more unison moving forward and having that compromise and having that compassion towards other people. However, with my ball of the week, because he is now the president-elect and he will be taking office this upcoming January in 2025. Derek, I actually have a trivia question for you with my ball of the week.
Okay.
Donald Trump is the second president in United States history to win the presidency, lose the next term, and then win again. So non-consecutive terms.
Oh, shit.
Do you know who the first president was to do this?
Can I get Dean, there's like 45. You got to give me a...
Of course, there's a lot. There's a lot. It was in the late 1800s. And he was very fat. Well, not very fat. That's me.
John Quincy?
But he was fat. No, Jesus Christ, no, not even close.
I can't think of fucking...
Do you want one more guess, or do you want me to just say it?
Can you give me a hint? No, that's not a hint. Like, can you give me like multiple choice? It still won't help me.
Multiple choice, bro. Like, that's the stupidest thing on the face of the...
All right, wait, no, give me like...
You know what? I will give you multiple choice. However, I do want to say he was the 22nd and 24th U.S. president. Like I said, he was the first one to do it in non-consecutive terms. Trump will be the second, now come in January. It is either A, William Taft.
Okay.
B, Franklin D. Roosevelt. Or C, Grover Cleveland.
William Taft.
That is incorrect. It is Grover Cleveland. But thank you for playing, Derek Orta. Who was that president? But yes, I wanted to incorporate a little bit of fun because I don't like to bring politics into it because we're not going to discuss who we voted for or anything like that. But Mr. Donald J. Trump is elected the 47th president of the United States in its illustrious history. We are coming up on the 250th year of the United States being a country during his presidency, so that should be a very fun time. It's good to celebrate a country. But yes, he is now the second president in U.S. history to win non-consecutive terms. The first one, Grover Cleveland, back in 1893. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my Ball of the Week, and that is our Baller of the Week segment.
That's a great way to end it off, Dean. All right, well, there's a closing segment I have to say is that I promise this is not going to happen again. I will not fuck up this much anymore. I do apologize. And we're going to be putting out, he's not going to like this, we're going to be putting out longer episodes, more shit to talk about. It's going to be better. More TikToks and everything.
Well, as long as Derek is in the podcast, I don't know about better. But we're going to do our best, folks.
All right, well, I'm signing out. Like, subscribe, comment on YouTube videos, TikTok, anything. I'll answer it, I'll speak about it, and I'll bring it onto the podcast. Peace.